Okay. So what are some like interesting? I know when we were able to talk to Kevin James the other day, like he said Tony Gibson, the crew chief, former crew chief, was an advisor on the show. Like, what
Yep.
is like something that's maybe in the first three episodes that I've seen that you could point to and say, yeah, that's in the show because of Tony Gibson.
We just flew him out to the set and sort of we walked him through the set, and he's like, no, we would never do it this way and put this here and get that. And so he helped us with the reality of the world. But then, again, it's tough to point out something because he cleared everything, but he definitely, one of the things that he was a big believer in, I can point to something. He said, look, some drivers, when they're out there on the track and they come around, you ask them what's wrong, they tell you, you need to make X, Y, and Z adjustment, and literally just use the technical terms of exactly what they want. And some guy goes, come back and go like, it felt a little funny when I did the thing, and it felt a little like this. And part of the job of the crew chief is being able to translate the guys who don't get technical, knowing exactly what to do. And that's the story of our two drivers that we have through the first season. Is one guy drives by feel and doesn't really ever bother to learn the technical stuff because he can say, in his language, and his crew chief, who's been with him for 5-10 years, knows exactly what to do. And the next generation nipping at his heels is someone who probably grew up on iRacing and knows
Yeah.
exactly the technical behind it all. So those two characters really grew out of that conversation with Gibson.
Okay. What's like one note that NASCAR had for you? It's like, we don't know about that. Could you change this?
They've been great. They just wanted to do stuff like, we have a storyline where one of the drivers gets injured
Okay.
and tries to hide the injury.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Um, and they, they just want to they they wanted to be careful. They wanted to say like, look, we don't want to say our drivers are doing something that is endangering someone else on the track. And we're like, great. So we just structured this story to make sure that, look, it was a driver who didn't want to admit he had the injury, but we made sure that there was another character, who was watching out for him and trying to let Kevin know the truth, and he didn't make it out on the track. So it's more stuff like that. And when we talked in the beginning, they're like, we don't want our drivers driving drunk. And I'm like, neither do I. Again, it's the kind of obvious stuff you wouldn't want to do. They aside from that, they're great. I never ran into it, but I'm sure that, if I tried to put tires on a car and they weren't Goodyears, I'm sure I would have heard something. But we did our homework so that hopefully they didn't have to ride herd on us too much.